I'm Casey Claiborne, and thanks for watching this CrimeWatch YouTube exclusive, where we're taking a look at some recent crime stories around Austin and Texas. A 19-year-old has been arrested on a capital murder charge in connection to a shooting at a hookah bar in late January that killed 2 people. Fox 7 Austin's Meredith Aldis spoke with the family of one of the victims.
A Saturday night at the Moon Palace Hookah Lounge in Northwest Austin turned deadly.
I'm still in disbelief. I think I will feel like that for a long time.
Braden Bolliard's family says he was stopping by the lounge to say happy birthday to a friend and then leave.
He was just wrong place at the wrong time.
Bolliard ended up leaving and going to the hospital. He was shot.
I answered the call and I heard just the horror and the tears and some of my friend's voice.
Austin Police Department investigators say 19-year-old Christian Deshaun Stevens shot and killed Braden Bolliard and Jatron Tatum and injured 4 other people.
There was a single shooter that opened fire inside the hookah lounge.
APD says Stevens was on the run. It took some time, but the Lone Star Fugitive Task Force found him in Killeen. With help from Killeen PD, they took him into custody last Wednesday. Meanwhile, family and friends of 17-year-old Bolliard in shock.
You always think it's somebody else's family. It hits you, and in our community, it just has devastated a part of us that I don't know if it'll ever heal.
Bolliard went to Gerald High School and was a star on the football field.
He loved football. Loved it. Lived for it.
He was just such an electric player. And you knew when Braden was on the field. You could feel his presence, and he played with all of his heart.
His heart of gold.
He was just a heart of gold. He was just passionate, and to everyone, he just treated everyone the same.
His friends and family described him as energetic and funny.
He loved listening to music so much, and so I think that, a way that I cope, I guess, is I listen to some of his favorite songs and stuff, and that helps a lot.
I think that kills me still. Some of our favorite times is with music too. Listening, driving on the back roads, listening to music and the singing, the silliness.
They say he'll never be forgotten.
Stevens is being held in the Bell County Jail on a $4.5 million bond. He'll eventually be transported back to Travis County. Austin police are not looking for any other suspects right now. Police have arrested 6 juveniles in connection to a series of robberies throughout northeast and southeast Austin. The 2-day robbery spree happened the weekend of March 4th. Austin police responded to 9 separate aggravated robbery calls. In one case, a victim had been shot. We're told that person is in stable condition. On March 6th, police reviewed surveillance video and were able to identify several stolen cars used in the crimes. In some cases, the suspects ran when pursued by police, but they were eventually caught. Stolen property from the crime scenes were found in 3 vehicles. Right now, only one of the suspects will be charged with participating in all of the robberies. They're facing 19 counts of aggravated robbery. The other juveniles each face various charges. Austin police are looking for a package thief who robbed his victim at knife point. The man seen here was spotted stealing packages in front of a home near the intersection of 35th and Fruth Street. The victim confronted the suspect. The man then pulled out a knife and threatened the victim before running away. Call Austin police if you know anything about that. Austin police have arrested a 19-year-old for a street racing wreck that killed a woman. The victim's family says her death could have been avoided. Fox 7 Austin's Meredith Aldis has more.
It was Valentine's Day, and Richard Walker and Denise Cunningham had just had lunch together. Cunningham left, and about an hour later, Walker says he couldn't get a hold of his wife.
I got nervous, and I got in my car and left my job, went up to the freeway, and that's when I saw the car.
Cunningham had been hit, and she died at the scene.
I feel like my soul had been ripped out of my body.
At that time, I was like, I have no parents, and that just played in my head, and I was alone, and I screamed at the top of my lungs.
Investigators say 19-year-old Severio Castillo Hortolano was racing and killed Cunningham.
We all want her back, but we can't have her back over some senseless stuff. It's childish. Racing is stupid.
And now 2 families are deeply impacted.
He's a kid too, and his mother and his father are never going to be able to hug their child again. And same with me. I'm never going to be able to hug my mother again.
Family members of Cunningham describe her as the glue that held them together, and she cared for everyone.
Someone you could count on, for sure. She was amazing. She was one of a kind. She was special. She was important.
I didn't know that was going to happen like this, but it's just hard for me to make it right now. But I'm doing the best I can do to make it. And, it's just, she made sure everything was just good, and I miss her.
Hortolano is charged with 2 second-degree felonies, manslaughter, and racing on a highway causing death. This is Austin's 11th fatal crash this year. Meredith Aldis, Fox 7 Austin News.
Hundreds of pounds of marijuana were found in a tractor trailer on a bridge between Mexico and Texas. Customs and Border Protection says a little more than 450 pounds of pot seized at the World Trade Bridge in Laredo. It was found during an inspection of the truck, which was supposed to be carrying cardboard. Authorities say the weed has a street value of a little more than $1 million. Homeland Security agents are investigating that seizure. And finally, we're learning more about a Texas man who murdered a podcaster and her husband in their Washington State home. Fox's Natalie He spoke with his ex-wife in Houston, who shared details about their life.
Well, we spoke to his ex-wife on the phone today. She didn't want to have her face shown on camera or have her voice recorded, but she tells me the two of them were married for 7 years and they even share a daughter together. But she tells me she never thought he would be capable of such a horrific act. Court records show Neda Mashabi filed for divorce from 38-year-old Ramin Koda Karam Rezai in 2018. Over the phone, Neda, who works for Harris County, say her and Ramin are originally from Iran and have a 7-year-old daughter together. But the two have no other family in the U.S. Neda said that lack of support led Ramin to begin confiding in her in his romantic relationships after their divorce. In particular, Neda said she remembered his infatuation with 33-year-old Zoreh Sadeghi, a podcaster he'd met on the social media app Clubhouse and developed a friendship with. Neda said Ramin told her the two were talking on the phone often and had met in person more than once, until one day Sadeghi apparently cut it off. But court documents tell a different story.
This is the absolute worst outcome for a stalking case.
Last Friday, Redmond police in Washington state say Ramin broke into Sadeghi's home, shot her and her husband before turning the gun on himself. In an application for an order of protection filed just 2 weeks before her murder, Sadeghi said Ramin would call her and her husband dozens of times a day, sent gifts, and showed up to their neighborhood several times in hopes of spotting her.
This is a classic case of someone who was stalking someone who became obsessed with someone who had a public personality and then was under the false belief that there was actually some potential for a relationship. And when that wasn't happening, he took the next step. You got to be careful who you engage with to begin with. So I would certainly encourage people not to immediately engage with somebody until you find out who exactly that person is.
His ex-wife also tells us that Ramin had started his own trucking business. The address to that business came back to these apartments here behind me in Memorial City. We attempted to speak to anyone who might have known him, but all of them declined. In Houston, Natalie He, Fox 13 News.
Thanks for watching this Fox 7 Austin Crime Watch. Our exclusive Crime Watch stories run each Monday on Fox 7 Austin News at 9. Again, to learn more about the stories featured today, look for the links below this video. You can also find more stories on our website, fox7austin.com, or subscribe to the Fox 7 Austin YouTube channel.